we celebrate the anniversary of Rougned Odor because at least I, at the time, didn't know what a badass he was. I didn't know he could throw hands like that because Bautista seemed like such a badass dude. He seemed like the bigger, stronger guy. He was the dude hitting all those bombs. So when little Rougned got him in the face like that,
little Rougned,
and won that face-off, won that battle, I'm not sure Bautista ever recovered. He was never the same. We didn't view him the same. I'm not sure he viewed himself the same. It was a reputation killer. That dude just seemed like larger than life with his bat flips and his bombs and his sunglasses. Rougned Odor humbled him like the Iron Sheik.
Am I correct in saying, who was the White Sox? Was it Tim Anderson? Someone got caught with a punch?
Oh, yeah. That was like 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. So the moments where
He
you're
got knocked
like,
on his ass.
where you never look at the guy the same. I wrote down a couple in and out of the world of sports. How about Aaron Rodgers? The minute he started talking about politics and COVID and vaccines, like I think, a lot of people looked at Aaron Rodgers a different way, good or bad. Like you could be like, yeah, that's my guy, or, he's crazy. I think Aaron Rodgers, that was a moment where you're like, never going to be looked at the same.
Yeah, but you brought up one. I think that's a really good one, actually, when Jose Ramirez got Tim Anderson. Because, again, Tim Anderson, real outspoken, kind of started it.
Yeah.
That was wild. That was a good one, Rich. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
That was a recent one, too.
My mom, always as a kid, who she always loved? Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen. For some reason, my mom always loved them. When Charlie Sheen got all crazy, like Tiger Blood, winning. Wasn't there a part of you? Wasn't there a part of you that's like, what the hell happened to Charlie Sheen? Like, did you ever look at him the same?
I heard crazy stories about him, courtesy of Corey Feldman.
Yeah, things you
that
don't want to
never
hear,
really made me look at him the same way anyway. Allegedly, supposedly. Again, don't take my word for it. Take Feldman's.
Oh, what about Kanye? We always thought genius, weird because he's such a musical genius. But then he starts saying stuff about Jewish people and other people. You're like, what's he doing?
There was a moment where I felt weird rocking my Yeezys in public, for sure. I got another one. I feel bad saying this because I was once a diehard and huge fan of Howard Stern. I mean, I worked at K-Rock New York coming up and growing up. But there's a lot of people that would say after COVID, he hasn't been the same. Or you could say, hey, he took an A-list route and his interviews have never been better and he's never been more connected with A-level guests and A-level show.
Yeah, depending on how you look at it.
It depends how you look at it. But a lot of people say after COVID, not the same guy.
Yeah, I miss the old Howard. He would have never let Jerry Seinfeld go in on him like that. He would have came back. He didn't say a word.
I mean, look, it's clear. No, I don't think anyone will debate that he's different and it's a different show. That's just a fact. It's just a matter of, well, did he get better? He changed with the times.
Yeah, do you like how he evolved or
not?
do
you not, right?
Yeah.
Me personally, I just stopped listening, so I can't really give you a full. I'm just going by.
You worked with him when he was crude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I just don't listen anymore. But I know that's a popular answer for sure.
How about Kyrie? When he started flat earthing and saying some crazy stuff. Like,
there was a party who was like, he's a great player and all. He's a little wacky. For sure, it changed your perception of him. So now we turn it over to you on the anniversary of Rougned Odor and Jose Bautista. Never was the same after that. Any other examples, let us know at 877-99 on Fox.
In the fight game.
Yeah.
You and I watched a guy that you thought had all this promise, and he gave up like mid-fight. Victor Ortiz. I watched him pretty much as like give up mid-fight, and I used to think he was a badass because COVINO used to be like, yo, dude, Victor Ortiz.
I thought he had a chance against Mayweather.
And then,
And then Mayweather was frustrating him. He headbutted Mayweather. Then he felt bad about it. And remember the referee, it was Joe Cortez.
Yeah,
Joe
sort
Cortez
of a
was
sucker
like,
punch.
Hey, back it up. And then he got sucker punched because he was trying to hug and apologize to Mayweather. It's like, protect yourself at all times, man. He never was. You know what, Rich? That's a better answer than you realize, I think.
Because he was never the same.
I don't think he was ever the same after that. He went from all this promise to like, yo, man, what happened to Victor Ortiz? He got knocked out by Mayweather, sucker punched, and like never came back from that.
Ronda Rousey,
great example, Iowa Sam.
she was destroying lesser competition, and she went up against, who was it, Holly Holm?
Holly Holm, yeah.
And just got absolutely destroyed, and then I think it really affected her mental, well-being.
I agree, man. She went from like unbeatable, invincible, kind of like the Mike Tyson of her sport, to all of a sudden super vulnerable. Yeah, I agree. Good one.
This doesn't need to be like something bad happened, but we talked about it last week when LeBron James said, we're not going to win 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That made him go from lovable kid from Akron that's going to a different city to supervillain of the NBA.
Not 3, not 4, not 5.
Oh, boy.
I have an NFL one, and this affected my life and all of Raider Nation about after Derek Carr broke his leg.
It's broke. It's broke.
I thought you were going to say John Gruden's emails.
That too.
It's broke. It's broke.
But
it's broke.
Think about Derek Carr though. He was in the MVP conversation in 2016. Had a hell of a season in pretty much a meaningless game at the end of the year as they were headed to the playoffs. Broke that leg. Never fully came back as the guy.
Injuries are a big part of this conversation as far as never being the same.
Never being the same. There's
Donnie Baseball hurt his back. Was never the same player.
There's
he once was.
There's a great example that's been on all of our teams except yours, and that is a guy that I loved him when he was a Met. Danny, he wasn't a Dodger long enough for you to care. Thor, Noah Syndergaard, was an Adonis, 6'6", long blonde hair. New York City loved him, and it just an arm injury took him from throwing 100, and everyone's like, Thor, lightning bolts. Social media, he was funny. He was dating supermodels, and then he couldn't. His ERA was in like the 8s.
You guys bring up baseball and a former Met, but long ago, when Nolan Ryan punched Robin Ventura.
Oh, yeah.
Ventura was thought of as the wonder kid coming up, the college hitting streak, the young talent, and then you charge them out and then get beat up, and he was never the same Robin Ventura after that.
I remember having his traded card. Remember when they used to have traded sets?
Yes.
Topps traded set, the Robin Ventura rookie. All right, let's go to Tony in Oregon. Hope to see you Friday, buddy boy. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, as soon as you guys had said that, the first person that popped in my head was Michael Jackson being almost 50. That guy went from being the coolest thing since sliced bread to being not cool to being back cool again. And both my kids had danced, and so I was like, hey, this is the guy. And then I was like, hey, this is not the guy after I saw the HBO special, those guys coming forward. And,
depending on what you believe, it's hard to look at that guy the same again.
For sure.
I mean, he made it hard on us to look at him the same because he looked different all the time.
I mean, how do you watch Space Jam and saying, I believe I could fly, without thinking of R. Kelly doing some weird stuff?
Well, by the way, the guy who wrote that movie recently got in a little trouble.
Some heat.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Might make you look at that movie a little different. Hey, you brought up the Mets. You brought up Thor. Dan Byer brought up Ventura.
Yeah.
This was always a funny story to me, and I believe it to be true, even though maybe stats prove otherwise. But I believe that the Dark Knight himself, Matt Harvey, who went from like the most dominant pitcher for the Mets, everyone was super pumped about Friday nights.
There were chants. Harvey's better when Strasburg would pitch.
Yeah, the Dark Knight had a nickname. Everyone was wearing Batman masks. He was dating Victoria's Secret's model Adriana Lima, and I remember they went through a public breakup, and he was like crying about it to the media and everything. He skipped a start because of it. I'm not sure he ever like really recovered from that because he went from ultra dominant to getting in his own way, and I'm sure injuries played a part in it, but it all seemed to start around that time.
Yeah.
Because that then you're like, he missed a start because of that? And then you sort of like never looked at him the same way, and he didn't ever really perform the same way. That dude had so much promise.
Yeah. Let's say what's up to Wayne in Virginia. Wayne,
what up,
never
Wayne?
The same. Sports, entertainment, anything where one thing happened and you're like, I don't look at him the same way anymore.
What's going on, fellas? COVINO Rich. What's going on? Big ups to my boy Danny D. Silver and Black
Yep.
Forever, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Draymond Green, fellas, when he started stomping on dongs and the Warriors lost the championship, I lost all respect for that man. Not only did he show no remorse after doing so, look at him like fast forward, choking guys out, and just doing all kind of crazy stuff. I just can't look at him the same.
Yeah, and you could say that it's a little unfair, but they're the ones that that did a lot of this. They made us feel this way. We didn't do anything. You want to like Draymond Green, but yeah, I agree with him. I started looking at him a little dirty after a while.
Yeah.
As far as, as a player, he may be the greatest guy going, but definitely changed my perception.
Mike in Florida. What's up, bud?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We're good. What do you?
I didn't sucker punch anybody.
Yeah, what comes to mind for you, bud?
A-Rod.
Oh, good one.
What, when he lied? Like, give me the when he kissed himself in the mirror.
The moment?
What was it?
It was the allegations of the steroids.
Or what about when he tried to slap the ball out of the Red Sox glove at first base?
Oh, was it Bronson Arroyo?
Yeah.
Rich, you're wearing Cardinals colors right now. How about when players get the yips and they're never the same? Think of Rick Ankiel.
Rick Ankiel.
Chuck Knobloch.
Chuck Knobloch.
Steve Sachs went through it.
Dontrell Willis. Dontrell Willis, remember, couldn't find the strike zone? He was a Cy Young candidate a year later. Couldn't find the strike zone.
Steve Sachs tells a really heartfelt story about how his dad was his hero, right? His dad was his hero. And when he was going through it, his dad said, "Hey, listen, Steve, I went through this too, and here's what you got to do, and you just got to get over it." And when he found out that his dad, his hero, went through the same thing, he felt better about it, and he eventually got out of that mental funk because he was like, well, if my dad went through this and he's my hero, I'll just follow his advice, and it worked. Only to find out after his dad died that his dad never went through it. He just did it.
That's sort of sweet,
to
though.
sort of make it an okay thing for his son to work out of.
You know what? A lot of people take it away from sports for a second. If you have friends that went through a pretty bad breakup or divorce, like you may not see them approach love the same way. I know that sounds silly, but
she took my soul.
I think that's a good one, man, because it makes you a little bitter.
Yeah, like you may love again, but you'll be a little distant.
Yeah,
guard is up.
I'll tell you what. And on a serious note, again, I don't want to be all serious, but I had a buddy that was in Afghanistan. He came back, and just not the same dude. And that, things happen in life that will make you never the same. And I got the number one answer in the sports world. But let's go to Ramsey in New York City first. What's up, Ramsey?
Yo, what's up, guys? Just getting off work. Listen, Jeff Van Gundy, after he fought Alonzo Mourning in the Garden, it was a wrap.
Dude, when his hair, when he was holding on to his leg.
He was being dragged by.
We never heard from him again.
That was the wildest, dude. His hair's all flopping around.
So embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
On a side note, that made you think less of him, or like, oh, how weak. You know what made me think someone's cooler? When Bobby Valentine had the fake mustache.
Oh, I thought you were going to say when Marv Albert was biting ass streaks.
Yes!
Yes!
That did make me think a little different. Him like, oh, Marv, huh?
Freak, huh? Ooh.
But the number one answer on the board when you're like, wow, my opinion changed. Now, he had been known behind the scenes to be
And
shady.
again, hold on. This wasn't like a matter of your opinion change. This was a matter of they were really never the same again. That's really where this conversation started, because Jose Bautista, in our opinion, and it seemed to be that's where it was never the same again. He was never that dominant bat-flipping guy again.
Now,
he may have had a few moments afterward, but he wasn't the same dude.
After we learned more that, like, he had been a little shady, until this moment, everyone loved him. And then all of a sudden, there's a chase on the 405 and the 101. O.J. Simpson. Hey, Twitter world.
I mean,
OJ,
that's probably
it's got to be the number one answer.
The
most beloved guy. Oh, he may have murdered people.
OJ. Number 2, Bautista. Number 3, Robin Ventura.
Wes in Vegas hit us up. Thanks for listening in the Vegas affiliate. I love Vegas. He gave an example that Danny G and Dan Beyer both have a little mental stake in, and that is when Bo Jackson ran over the Boz And no one, I know you could say, oh, he didn't have a good angle on it. But
yeah, he didn't, Rich.
I
Why
know,
are you
I
covering,
agree.
you know, like,
DB,
geez.
you know how many kids took their Wizard of Oz poster down that day?
Garbage.
I know, but he didn't have the best angle. I think it was BS too, but he
Well,
did
had
that,
leverage. I mean, what can you do?
But I agree with you. I don't think it was a fair call. It's like sometimes when someone gets dunked on.
I stopped getting a flat top that week.
Don't cover for that steroid freak.
But you know what? You ever see when someone gets dunked on and it's a bad angle, and you're like, oh, they shouldn't be humiliated. They never had the right angle, and then meanwhile they're posterized. They're on a, there's that famous John Starks poster every New York kid had. Did he really dunk over Jordan? Yeah, I guess he did. All right, let's go to Chris in Vegas. But first, Iowa Sam has one. What do you got, Iowa Sam?
Well, okay, a couple things. I don't want to flush his career because he's still playing, and he has had injury issues. But off the field, Deshaun Watson and the massage stuff, we look at him differently because of all that stuff that came out.
True.
He still has a lot of, I think he still has a lot of promise. But when he was winning games with Houston, we're like, this guy's one of the best in the league. And then all that civil lawsuit stuff, it's and the injuries.
You know what?
His story's not written, but he hasn't been the same.
I'm telling you,
I'm not
trying
and his
to,
story's not written.
Listen, Iowa Sam, I want him to be very clear because I feel like you always have to be very clear because people twist your words. Not you. I'm saying in general. I'm not saying what he did was fine, but he didn't murder someone. He didn't. He wasn't abusing people. Like Deshaun Watson, he could turn around the narrative. I think, it would be crazy to be like, I've never heard of a guy getting a happy ending massage. Like, it happens. It's wrong. It's not good. But I'm just saying, like, Deshaun Watson could change his narrative. Michael Vick with the dogs. People are animal lovers. That guy, like, to this day, there's still people that are like, I will never like Michael Vick.
But there were women that were not doing it on their own choice.
Is that
with Deshaun Watson?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that
makes it a little different.
He hasn't been the same since.
No,
and injuries have played into that as well.
Yeah, but still. Hey,
but I'm saying you're right.
Karma.
He seemed likable, and then all of a sudden you hear those stories, and Deshaun Watson's like, ooh. Oh.
Lots of people calling up for this, man. We appreciate it.
This is a great topic.
Chris in Vegas, that one moment that changes your perception. We bring it up because it's the anniversary of Odor punching Bautista in the face, and I feel like we never looked at Joey Bats the same way.
Hey, first-time caller. I would like to say probably Nick Anderson missing those free throws, getting the rebound, and missing 2 more free throws. I don't think his career is ever the same after that.
Missing a big moment.
It sucks when you're defined by these moments, you know?
Yeah, there's
Bill
great...
Buckner's probably the poster guy for that. His whole career is defined by a moment.
Yeah, Chris Webber was a great player in college and the pros, but that timeout from Michigan when they didn't have timeouts, that's like the image you have of him, and it sort of sucks because
I think the only way to recover,
have a bigger moment,
is to have a bigger moment and come out on top.
Bruno in New York. What's up, Bruno?
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Another great show as usual.
Thanks,
hey,
bud.
We love you, and by the way, man, we're all pumped. I know I've got friends going to make out to Eugene. I'm hoping to get to Tempe. But that being said,
nice.
Thank you, man.
No, we're digging it because I know you guys put on a good time when you're out there. 2 real quick, I'll make it. Wade Boggs, okay, Scott Norwood. I mean, obviously their lives were not, their careers weren't only over, but they were done in life. I mean, they were ostracized by the community. You know what I'm saying?
What did Wade Boggs do?
He just got new hair, I thought.
Wade Boggs?
Bruno, what about
Wade Boggs? No. I missed that.
Norwood, definitely. But what did Wade Boggs do?
Okay, man. No, I blew that. I was thinking about the Boston Red Sox, third base. Ball went between his legs.
Oh, Buckner in its first base.
Yeah, Buckner.
Yeah, I
was like, hey, look, Wade Boggs cried on a horse at Yankee Stadium. I know that was a little bit dramatic, but I don't hate him for it.
I was going to say, do you hate Wade Boggs' hairpiece that much? Thank you,
You
Bruno.
know what? Norwood is a really good answer. Except he actually had a good career.
Yeah.
It's just that people remember that one
so
big
sad.
moment.
That's what I said. Like, just being defined by one bad moment is almost not fair.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you watch
the Bautista thing, I don't think he ever recovered.
Listen,
that's the difference here.
I'm not excusing like a-hole behavior, but if you watch that show, I know you did, Morning Show on Apple TV. Danny, you watched it?
Really good.
Steve Carell's character, remember when he was like getting all mad? He's like, I had a career for this many years and I'm defined by this. Like, sometimes you make a bad mistake and you are defined by it.
Sometimes, when you're talking about Scott Norwood, and that's a 46-yard field goal, right? By the way, he wasn't bat flipping like Jose Bautista was when he's making these kicks. He's not doing crotch chops to the other team. He's just going out there doing his job, while Bautista's bat flipping everything, and then when push comes to shove, he gets popped in the,
Bautista was like the loud guy at the club that, got shown.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what made it such a memorable thing. I mean, that's a meme that lives on.